Mike's on.
All right, a little after 5, we'll put the Mets aside. Yankees in action tonight, and then obviously tomorrow they're both off. Friday night, let me give you the pitching matchups for the weekend so you can spend your time on that. Friday night will be Tanaka and DeGrom. Saturday night will be Germán and Matt. Sunday night will be an excellent matchup. National television, Severino and Syndergaard is what we expect. Syndergaard is not confirmed in that game, but will be stunned if he doesn't pitch in it. We expect him to pitch in it, and we also expect Cespedes to be activated for the series. I would be very, very surprised if he was not. Now, tonight, Game 3, NBA Finals. You know what happened? The series had such an intense opening, had such a dramatic and controversial Game 1. Game 2 became so much of what everybody expected in the series that there's very little fanfare for Game 3. Iguodala is a game-time decision. We all expect him to play tonight. Sounds like that Cleveland is going to try and give some other guys a chance tonight. I don't think that's the way to go. I really don't think that's the way to go. I think this is more a chance where you stick to the basics here. Tonight is going to be a heavy LeBron first-half night. A lot of points. You see that he has his hops early. Gets out of the box scoring. I think there'll be a big scoring quarter. Crowd will be pumped. Number one, Thompson has to play major minutes because he's the only one who gives them any defensive integrity at all, and he gives them rim protection. They have to have it. So that's number one. He has to be in the game. Gives them offensive rebounding also. Can finish some of his offensive rebounds, can finish a couple of his LeBron passes. This offense tonight has got to be a very masterful approach of when to use the clock and when not. Run when the opportunity's there. 2, take your time when it's not there. LeBron operate at the elbow with his offense as you expect. Run some clock there. You want LeBron's 40 points tonight to come in a 95 to 98-point game. You don't want a 120-point game because it minimizes the amount of points, and you can't get those from somewhere else. And then you go to your mainstays tonight. You go to Love, you go to Korver, you go to JR, you go to Hill, and you stay right there. You don't go far from that. That's where you go. You expect Korver and JR to shoot the ball well from 3 when they're homecoming. The old UB Brown adage is always true. 3 through 7, score and shoot much better at home than they do on the road. You expect 1 and 2 to play well anywhere. After that, 3 through 7, they're much better when they're, on their own floor. Crowd not hostile. Defense not as intense. And I think that's what you look for. You try and get... what you try to do tonight, if you're Cleveland, is get to a point in the second half after Golden State's made 1 or 2 runs where Golden State says, see you in Game 4. That's what you try to get to, so that you don't have to take this and play it. You don't want to let them get an opening where they think they can come back in the fourth quarter and steal it. That's what you try to do. You try to get them to say, just see you in Game 4. And that's, obviously all Golden State's out there to do is get a split. They don't need to. Listen, if they win tonight, they'll stay, let's punish them and finish it. But I think right now they'd sign for a split and go home a happy group, wouldn't you? I mean, they would, too, to play number 5. Let number 5 be a coronation, and away you go. So, I mean, that, makes plenty of sense. So, in essence, it'll be harder tonight with Iguodala there. He hasn't played in a while. He'd like to make his presence felt, and he can do that defensively. Cleveland has got to control tempo and has to play much, much better defense. And when given the opportunity to knock down shots, it's got to come from Love and Korver and Smith and Green and Hill. That's it. I'm not looking to bring new faces into the mix. If they want to try one, so be it. But the other guys have not shown that Hood and Claxton, guys like that, have not shown that they belong in this thing. And the one thing about Smith is, as goofy as he is, he's not afraid. And this is a night where you expect Korver to have a good game. This is a spot where you get Korver. But remember, the problem with Korver is they will chase him into very bad and make you pay on defense. They will chase him into very bad places on defense. They will put him in the pick and roll and destroy you. I mean, that's what they'll try to do all the time is get him in the pick and roll and just grind him. So, I mean, that's what they try to do all the time when he's on the floor. But he can make some big shots. But to me, the second most important guy tonight on the Cavs is Thompson. They need his defensive integrity. They need his rim protection. Otherwise, they have no chance. Because they cannot have that quartet going in there tonight and shooting like they shot. I mean, Durant, Thompson, and especially the dynamic duo of Livingston and McGee, the four of them shot 29 for 38. That's 76%. 29 for 38. And McGee and Livingston were 11 for 11. I mean, it can't happen. 11 for 11 with role players. How are you going to do it? What are you going to do if your role players come off the bench and go 11 for 11? Shades of Scott Wedman. Very difficult. That's where we are there. The other thing I want to make this point is with the Jets. How many guys are the Jets going to have on their team who are going to get in trouble? I mean, what is that, Mons? That's 5, 6, 7? How many different players is that? Where they have had how many? And listen, some of them can play. Some of them have been marginal guys. But, man, they've had so many guys have problems. You know, and I like McCagnon. I just wonder with some of those picks down the line, or some of the guys they're dabbling with down the line, are they, in terms of, really doing your due diligence here? Are you taking some risky chances with players who aren't worth the risk? Man, they got some guys who've been in, and none of it's pretty stuff, that's for sure. I mean, some of it's not, misdemeanors. Some of it's ugly stuff. And they have had a lot of guys in trouble. More than a couple. So, I mean, they need to get their act together. And the Giants, I will say this. They face a very tough early schedule. 8 arrests in 13 months for the Jets. A couple of guys more than once. But 8 arrests, 13 months is a lot. And I'll say this about the Giants. They face a really tough early schedule. I mean, usually you don't comment on schedule. You know the division and what it is. But the way you lump games, I always talk about how in the first half of the season, football's a momentum sport. Football's a sport where camaraderie is built and confidence is built sometimes by doing better early than you really should, and it's something you can build on and grow on, and then all of a sudden you produce better units that way. As everyone buys in. That's why I'd always want to schedule harder late than early in the NFL, because you want to be able to build early and and you want a safe landing where boy, this is the week I really just need to be playing the right team in the right spot rather than playing the wrong team in the wrong spot. Because, one prolongs a 3-game losing streak, which is death in the NFL. They face a really tough early schedule. I mean, it is abnormally difficult. But I think if you're out there and you're looking at those early over-unders, if you can get the Giants at 7, that's a steal. I've seen it at 7. That's a steal. They're going to be good. I think they're going to be very much improved. The difference between them being good and very good is going to be on defense. Offense is going to have very few problems this year. They're going to be very good on offense. I think they're going to have a very good year. I know everybody's in love with the Niners. You hear that. You're seeing that everywhere. I mean, I understand what went on last year. And I'm the guy, who got grief for saying I'd give up 2 number ones for Garoppolo. Everyone said I was nuts. Now, how many guys would have paid 2 number ones for him now? I mean, the whole world would, especially after Belichick told you that he thought he was one of the 10 best players in the league. But that's a quantum leap this year. I've seen their number as high as 8.5. That's a big leap all at once. I mean, if they went to 500 this first year there with him and them growing, that would be a good year. It really would. He's not going to win every game. I hate to disillusion everybody. He's not going to win every game that he ever plays. It's not going to happen. And they have them on national TV. You know, the Niners are on national TV a lot this year. I just happen to be looking at the schedule. They got a lot of games on national TV. A lot. So they're expecting big things out of them. And I think they're going to be, I think they're going to be real. I think they're real. But they could be real and still, have a growing year, a consolidation year. It doesn't have to be that they sprint to 10 wins the first year. Their days of being bad are over. But they have to. People want the Niners to step right back in. And in talking about the Niners, you saw about Dwight Clark, which was very, very sad. Really was. Niners have had a lot of issues in their organization as a team with ALS. And it was traced to, a lot of people believe, to something that was utilized in the turf, in fertilizing that turf, a lot of people feel, over a period of years. Now, whether that's true or not, hey, there's a lot of things about the disease that are not known, like a lot of diseases. But that was brought up on multiple occasions, going all the way back many years with that organization. So, I mean, it's good to see. It's good to see that team back, because that's a team. There's certain teams that you like to see back in the league. To see the Niners back is always nice to see. Just like it's nice to see the Bears back. I think when the Bears come back, there's certain franchises that when they come back, it matters. And I think the Niners are that team. I think the Bears are that team. I think the Giants are that team. Ron in Oyster Bay. What's up, Ron?
Hey, Mike. First call since you're back. Great to have you on the air.
What's happening?
Nothing on the Mets situation. Look, if they've got to rebuild and move one of the pitchers, I would like to see them lock DeGrom up long-term, and they have to move Syndergaard. So my question is, how much less does that bring back, do you think, and does it make sense?
He's just not as... Syndergaard scares people, I think, more with the way he goes about his business and the fact that he just has not been as ultimately consistent, especially this year. I mean, a lot of people... I told you, Terry Collins told me last December, when I saw him, he said, mark it down, Syndergaard's going to win the Cy Young this year. That's what he said to me. He said, remember I told you he's going to win the Cy Young this year. We know he's got that kind of talent, but he hasn't produced that kind of performance this year. Mike in South Jersey, what's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike. Glad you're back, man.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the possible maybe DeGrom trade. Here's three guys that I'm thinking. I'm thinking I would trade Clint Frazier, maybe Ronald Torreyes, and probably a couple, I'm thinking maybe a minor leaguer and maybe like a first-round draft.
You're not trading the Mets a utility infielder. Now, listen, Torreyes could play on anybody's team, but he's not a chip that the Mets are looking for cornerstone players. They're looking for guys they can build into everyday players. Torreyes is a utility man. That's his job. He's a valuable piece on any team. And the Yankees love him, but that's not what he is. John in Montvale. What's up, John?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good. What's happening?
Two things. One, I got to trade with the Orioles and the Yankees.
Oh, okay.
Before that, you were talking to Buck last week, and you brought up, how Buck had walked Barry Bonds intentionally with the bases loaded.
Well, no, I didn't bring up Buck. I brought up a couple of guys doing it. Buck brought up his instance with it. It happened more. I think it happened it might have happened 3 times. It happened at least twice. It might have happened 3 times.
Yeah, but I know you mentioned, with the Bobby Bonds when he did that.
Right.
But then you said you had seen Willie McCovey intentionally walk with the bases loaded. And, I used to follow the Giants a lot.
Right.
I never saw or heard of that. So I went online and I checked.
And you couldn't find it?
And they said there is no record of him ever doing that.
I thought it happened to Willie McCovey once. I thought there was a time that it was done with Willie McCovey, too.
And then they said it was only happened twice since World War II.
Who was the other one?
Josh Hamilton.
And I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it was more recent than Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I don't remember the Hamilton one. I thought they did it with McCovey. Okay, so it didn't happen with McCovey. I thought it happened with McCovey once.
That's why I was shocked when you said you saw it.
Yeah. No, I didn't say I saw it. I said I thought that it happened. I didn't say it.
You said
well, where would I see it? Then it would have to be against the Mets if I saw it. How would I see it?
I don't know. That's what you said. If you go back and listen to your
well,
thing.
I didn't. Listen, if I
said to him, I saw Barry.
Well, I meant that it happened. No, I never saw him get walked. If I said that, it was, well, then I misspoke. That's all.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, so I didn't mean that I saw it. I thought there was the one that I noted.
No,
I thought there was one with Willie McCovey. Now I did see. Listen, it's not that big a deal, John. It's really not.
It is a big deal.
Why is it a big deal?
Like when you say something
John,
like,
it's
"Oh, I
not that
saw
big
Willie McCovey intentionally."
No, I saw Willie McCovey play with four. I saw them play with four outfielders with Willie McCovey. That I did see in person. I saw Gil Hodges move four outfielders into the outfield. I happened to be at the game that night when he put four outfielders in the outfield against Willie McCovey. That I saw in person. If I did not, and I guess Willie McCovey means a great deal to you, okay, for some reason. I don't know why. But when I said it to Buck, I was alluding that I thought it happened to Willie McCovey, not that I saw it happen to Willie McCovey, okay? If I saw it happen to Willie McCovey, it'd have to be a Met game. Well, otherwise, how would I see it? You know, in those days, you didn't see the Giants play very often. So I don't know where you'd see the Giants. It would have to be a Giant Met game. Because in those days, the games weren't on TV. So it would be very difficult to see something happen with the San Francisco Giants in New York when you're a kid. Now, I did see that happen at Willie McCovey with Gil Hodges. I happened to be at the game when he went to four outfielders against him. That I did see with Willie McCovey, which was a great show of respect in its own right. I thought Willie McCovey had been walked with the bases loaded. You say he was not. I'll take your word for it. I don't even remember Josh Hamilton being walked with the bases loaded. That I don't even remember. As a matter of fact, we know Bonds did it. I thought it happened with Bonds 3 times, but you might run back and listen now, and it might have only happened twice. Cause I'm not sure how many times it happened with Bonds. I thought it was 3, might have been 2. Buck admitted to doing it once. I thought it happened 3 times that year when he got 220 walks, because he got that year like 70 intentional walks. And I thought it was 3 times. It might have been 2 times, but I'm not.
Make sure you get it right.
Yeah, because the guy's going to call me up and tell me you said it was 3 and it was 2. Great. Andrew in Howard Beach. What's up, Andrew?
What's up, Mike?
What's happening?
Listen, all right. First of all, for people who think that the Yankees and Mets can't make a trade, they're just wrong. All right. That's the bottom line.
They don't make trades.
Okay, but that's not the.
When was the last time they made a trade?
Listen, it doesn't matter if the Mets want to turn this thing around and the Yankees make them a good offer.
It's very difficult for them to make trades, though. You understand that, right?
Okay. Listen,
do you understand why? Well, why is it so difficult?
For a number of reasons, Mike. But let me ask you this.
Yeah, the main reason being that because you have to live with the trade.
Right. Okay. Right. And if the Mets are wrong, then they're going to stink for another 20 years, like they have for the past.
This is a let's give the Yankees everything, and this is what this is about, right? This is from a Yankee standpoint. Let's give the Yankees everything. Yeah, give them Torres first.
Can I at least tell you the trade?
Yeah, give them Torres first,
and then you could pick it apart.
Well, give them. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, so get it out. Go ahead. What is it?
Okay, so basically, the Yankees would be giving them Tyler Austin, Frazier, Drury, and Chance Adams.
Not enough.
And if the Mets,
not enough.
You're crazy. You're crazy. If you think that's no good for the Mets, you're crazy.
Start with Torres.
Torres?
Yeah.
Gleyber Torres?
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
Well,
Mike.
wait a second.
Get a grip.
Here's what you want to do, Andrew. You want to steal from the Mets. You don't want to. You don't want to trade with them. You don't want to trade with them. Well, wait a second.
You're out of your mind.
Right now, DeGrom is what pitcher in Major League Baseball? What would you say he ranks as?
He's definitely top 10.
He's probably top 3 this year.
And you know what?
So you don't want to give up a rookie player for one of the 3 best pitchers in baseball this year,
Mike,
who is 29.
First of all, let me say this. Let me say this about Gleyber Torres.
Yeah.
All right, you listening?
Yeah, no, I don't care. Listen, your big proclamation as a Yankee fan means nothing, so I don't care. Okay, but what you're going to tell me about Gleyber Torres. But if this is why the trade doesn't happen. That's the reason. Is because the Mets need to bring back a special player for a guy they consider one of the best pitchers in baseball. That's what makes the trade difficult. What about their fans? You want to heist. That's what you want to do. As a Yankee fan, you want to steal DeGrom and try and win a World Series with him. Understandable. Completely understandable. But the other team is left without DeGrom, who is just going into the prime years of his career. So that's why when you went and made a trade, what did you ask for? You asked for a guy who was considered to be, in a lot of places, the number one prospect in all of baseball. And you got him. Some places had him first, some places had him second, but you got him. And look what he's turned out to be. He's turned out to be a special player. And if I'm the Yankees, I don't want to trade him either. But if you're the Mets, that's who you ask for if you want to make a trade. And if you're not going to ask for that, then you're going to absolutely try to fleece the Yankees for as much as you can, since you're asking for my pitcher to try and win you a World Series. But you're not willing to give me something to really let me have something I can really build around. Why would I do it then? If DeGrom could be the difference between the Yankees winning a World Series and not winning a World Series this year, I got to get something back for that. Not an Austin who could be an okay player and maybe a good player and may not be a good player. The jury's still out on him as a player. He's got power, strikes out a lot. Don't know if he's an everyday player. Doesn't have a lot of defense. Okay. There's a lot of prospects in the Yankee organization that you would put ahead of Austin. Frazier be one. I think he'd definitely be in the trade. Andor in the trade. Those two, you can start there and then probably come up with two guys. But you don't get to pick them. I do. The other two guys, if you're the Mets, you let the Mets pick them, not you, as long as you're keeping Torres out of the trade. See, if the Torres is out of the trade, you basically have to tell the Mets, you got carte blanche. Here's the guys that are, we're not trading Bird, we're not trading Torres. You got to pretty much give me carte blanche on the other guys and let me take the guys that I want of the young guys. And I'm not counting Judge, of course. He's not in the Judge and Sanders don't count anymore. They're regulars now. They're everyday players. Mike in Florida. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
All right. I'm not one of these Yankee fans that want to just fleece the Mets, but I'll propose to you a trade. Mm-hmm. First of all, Boyd, and I called you a couple of years ago. I couldn't watch the Yankees anymore because they were boring. God, the Mets are so boring right now.
Right.
You can't watch them.
Right.
So you want to infuse some life into it.
Right.
All right. And the Yankees want to go for it this year. We know they're making the playoffs, and we're not going to go on a run. I want DeGrom, mm-hmm. and I'm starting with Torres.
You're giving him Torres?
And now you tell me if this is too much or if this is fair. Torres, Frazier, and pick one of our catchers.
Oh, you already gave him way too much. You got Mike. They'd run you out of town if you tried to give that trade. My God, Mike, if you got Torres, you don't have to give him a whole lot else. But the Yankees will never give him Torres, never. Which I don't understand. But then you can't ask for DeGrom. If the Mets turn you down on DeGrom, you got to understand that. All right, the Eddie Coleman Report is brought to you by Bay Ridge Honda, one of the dealerships proudly owned by Robbie Sabah.